All right, folks. So, welcome to Real Estate 101. It's an introduction to real estate investing for everyone. And the key word there is everyone. We'll get into why that's such a key word in just a few minutes. Quick introduction for the two main speakers. I've got Drew with me today. He's a finance industry professional for over 20 years, a real estate investor for 20 plus years, and you've successfully executed hundreds of real estate transactions, including over 40 in your first year and $500,000 in profits. We'll talk about that as we get into the program a little bit. You're the managing partner at the Complete Investor, decorated U.S. Marine with 8 years of service. Thank you, Drew. And I will say, if you guys have been on some of our other Wealth IQ webinars, you've seen Drew in those as well. I love talking to Drew because you always get some really unique information, and I'm hoping you guys get that from us today. So let me jump to who I am. So this is Mikey Z, guys. You know me from Target. You know me from the Gold Group. You know me from a lot of different places because I love the finance industry. I think this is people talk about making money. Well, you want to be close to the money. But what a lot of you may not know is that my forte is actually real estate. I've been in real estate for 30 years. I've done hundreds of real estate opportunities, from small residential flips, some income producing rental properties, some Airbnbs, to some large scale commercial developments. I built hotels and casinos for 15 years. I financed them. So I know this business pretty well. I think you're in good hands with Drew and I, if we can say it any better than that. I'm also a partner in Wealth IQ Group, and I was the former director for Streamline Homes, which was a big home builder out of Atlanta. We built over 200 homes, very successful home building company. So quick disclaimer. This is for education purposes, guys. We're not talking about licenses today. We're not getting into any of that. This is literally information to help you get started in the real estate game tomorrow. You can literally get started tomorrow. So quick agenda. Why real estate? Most of you are here because it's piqued your interest, but I'm going to tell you why you want to be in real estate right now, and hopefully this will light that fire even brighter. Some of the biggest fallacies about being involved in real estate, where to start, understanding opportunities, diagnosing the gap, and the strategy that we use and what we call the takeaway. So we're going to dive into it right away. So just so everybody's aware, this program is being hosted by Wealth IQ Group. This is a name that you've probably seen pop up lately. That's how you got here. Who is Wealth IQ Group? So what we did was we went into various aspects of the wealth building and the wealth protection education forums. We went out and sought out experts. We've curated some very, very, very unique perspectives for people who are either just getting started or they're going through transition stages in their lives and they want access to that information. Today's a perfect example of it. Okay. So today we're going to be talking about real estate. What we've built with Wealth IQ Group is a single ecosystem, a single place where you can go to learn about building and protecting your wealth, taught to you by trusted experts. We've put a lot of work into this company, and so you understand the general strategies with it. We work with, at the top there, you see strategic wealth building. That's advanced trading systems, trade automation, understanding how to trade various different markets for yourself. The second is precious metals. A lot of you guys know Gold IQ Group. That's one of our subsidiaries. Today, we're going to be talking about the real estate investment and development. We also talk about asset protection and liability shielding. You won't find a lot of that online. This is a very unique thing that we offer. And then tax optimization for investors. So the tax optimization side is CPA level information. So if you keep in touch with us and you follow our webinars and stuff, you'll see that coming down the pipe. And the idea behind Wealth IQ Group, just so everybody understands, this isn't designed for high net worth individuals only. This is designed for people who want to go from wherever you are in your life right now to the point that you're financially independent. That's the idea behind the group. It's helping you find paths to get you from wherever you are to complete and total financial independence. So number 3 on that list is real estate. So let's talk about why real estate. Real estate's a hot topic, always is for investors. Many of you guys know there's been more wealth generated in real estate than there is in any other forum. That's a fact shown over and over and over again. We're entering right now a very unique and rare real estate cycle. Okay. It's what's called a high pressure system. Okay. And it creates opportunities. And we're in a unique place in the fact that we're right on the beginning of this. So why is it a unique situation? Right now, prices were historically high, right? Any of you that live in any of the big mover communities, right? So if you're living in Las Vegas, if you're living in South Florida, if you're living in Texas, the prices have gone through the roof. My neighborhood right now is $1,300 a square foot. Okay. Those are absurd prices. I live in South Florida. Those are absurd prices. Miami is off the charts. Palm Beach is off the charts. Um, Numbers are historically high right now, which has put a lot of investors and people that want to get into real estate on the sidelines because they feel a very significant barrier to entry. Second factor is inflation is historically high, and it has been. This isn't like it just got high. It's been high for years. It's been continuing to stay at this rate. Affordability is being struck by that. Mortgage rates are still high. Mortgage rates right now are in the mid sixes. That's double what they were just a few years ago. That's the average. There's some higher, more difficult loans right now that are 8 to 10%. Those were hard money loans 5 years ago, 6 years ago. So mortgage rates are very, very high. But specific to real estate is this concept that the inventory is growing. So if you're not familiar with the term in inventory, the idea of inventory is the amount of units, whether it's a home, a quadplex, a building that's listed on the market. Okay, so when it gets listed for sale on the market, they call that inventory. So just conceptually, right now, the average time on market for a residential home in the United States is 62 days. Okay, so you're like, okay, that's 2 months. That's not that bad. For comparative sake, that number was 18 days 4 years ago. Okay, so in 4 years, that number has gone up 400%. Okay, I want you to think about that. That's an incredible statistic. Okay, even more so, something's been happening over the last 6 months that is mind blowing. Okay, I have not seen this in 18 years, to be clear. Okay, new listings that are going on the market are higher than the number of sales that are happening every month. Okay, so what that means is the new properties going up for sale are outpacing the number of sales, and that's causing inventory to rise. Okay, so there's a lot of property for sale right now. And by the way, this has been happening for 6 months. Okay, this is huge. But what the factor, the telltale factor, the crack in the foundation is the fact that prices are coming down. And people say, oh, well, they're not coming down near me. There are pocket markets where those prices have stayed where they're at and they haven't moved yet. But as a whole, on a national level right now, prices are down 1.4%, okay, over year. That's huge because that's the top. If you think about it like a roller coaster where it clicks up and it clicks up and it clicks up and it gets to that peak point and then it just starts to move down, that's where we are right now. Okay, so remember what I said earlier, we're in a very unique situation, a situation we haven't been in years. That's the point that we're at right now. So the second factor, and this is probably the single biggest factor out of all these, is foreclosures are skyrocketing right now. Okay. The Adams Q1 2026 foreclosure report, which is what's basically nationally accepted as the clearest data, filings are up 26% year over year. Okay. Foreclosure starts are up 20% year to date. And bank repossessions, this is a big one. Bank repossessions are up 49%. Okay. 49%. So they're almost 50% year to date, guys. We're not talking about year over year. We're talking about in the last couple of months. Okay. So this is happening and it's happening fast. What does this all mean? So this means when the inventory grows, that means supply is rising, right? Supply is going up and demand is slowing. So you remember the old economics class? If there's a lot of supply and there's not a lot of demand, prices go down, right? That means also that sellers are losing leverage. They're losing the ability to dictate the terms and dictate the price because if you don't want it, there's another buyer right over here that wants it. Okay. And when sellers lose leverage, it creates opportunity. Okay. Opportunity shifts to investors, opportunity shifts to people who want to be in the market. And you're like, well, okay, now hold on a second. I want to be in the market, but I'm not there yet. Okay. By the way, that little thing, especially if they can structure the deals correctly, I'm going to show you guys, and Drew's going to show you guys how to structure deals where you don't have to be a quote investor. Okay. You don't have to come to bat with millions of dollars to process this deal or a line of credit for $10 million so that you can flip properties. We're going to show you guys how you don't have to do that. Okay. So we're entering this rare cycle. This is a very significant parallel to 2008. So any of you guys that were around, I'm old, okay? So I'm a little bit older. I was in the game in 2008. I remember when this happened, okay? This is very similar. It's actually worse right now, okay? It's actually worse right now for a number of different reasons. The primary of which is the reason this happened in 2008 was the mortgage obligations and the collateralized mortgage obligations and the secured debt as it was pushed together and bundled and resold became the issue. Right now, it's the general economy that's the issue, and real estate is just feeling the effect. So it was easier to fix back then. But I'm going to tell you something about 2008. If you were in the real estate markets from 2008 to 2014 and you knew how to structure deals without having a lot of cash, you built generational wealth. Okay, what do I mean by that? I mean, you were able to do things that they weren't generating a minor monthly income. This is making hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars a year doing it. Okay. Why? Because the opportunities are there to take and flip those properties in ways that you could never do before. Okay. And we're at the cusp of that period right now. All right. So why do I say that's super important? Because now is the time to learn how to do this. Don't wait till it's too late. Okay, I cannot stress that enough. If you start learning it now, by the time this hits and it gains momentum, you'll be able to do this very rapidly. Okay, now a couple of big fallacies I want to throw out, and I kind of hinted at these, but I want to make sure that you guys understand them. Okay, one, you need a real estate license. No, you do not need a real estate license to do anything that we're talking about today. Okay, you absolutely, in fact, it can hurt you if you have a real estate license. I'm not saying you can't do it, but it can be a little bit more difficult because of certain fiduciary obligations and things that you have. Okay, so you do not need a real estate license to do anything we're talking about. Okay, number two, you need millions of dollars or access to millions of dollars. Absolutely not. What we're going to talk about today, does it help? Sure, absolutely. You can throw money around and make moves that other people can't. You can work on other opportunities as well as what we're talking about, but you don't need it to do what we're going to show you. Okay. Number three, you need inside information. Okay. I hear this all the time. Well, so and so's aunt is in the REO department at Bank of America, and I find out about repossessed properties before the da da da. No, you don't need inside information to do what we're going to show you. Okay. It's not that difficult to do from an inside information standpoint. It's just work. You got to just be willing to put in the work. Okay. So you don't need inside information. And the last one, this is a big thing that's getting pushed right now that I got to tell you, I am hearing this from a lot of people. Drew, you and I were just talking about this. If you start looking into this online, there are companies that are going to try to sell you very expensive technology, right? Well, we have this AI software that can find properties that are, there are opportunities that no one else knows about because they search for this and they look in probate and then they compare it to their LinkedIn and you don't need any of that stuff, guys. I'm gonna tell you that right now. If there's ways you can program it to help yourself, that's great, but you don't need it. The key is you don't need it. And that's what I keep coming back to. Okay. So throw out the biggest fallacies. What you need is you need to understand what the opportunity drivers are. Okay. Once you get this concept and then you understand the mechanics, which Drew's going to get into in a minute, what you're able to do is you're able to use your work to generate money. Okay. This is the key. So, one thing you're going to need is you're going to need motivated sellers. Okay. We are entering a period right now of motivated sellers. Let me throw a couple of concepts of what I mean by this. Okay. Someone just inherited a property. Okay. The taxes are coming due on that property. Some of these inheritances are multi-million dollar homes that mom and dad owned, right? That those taxes might be 30, 40, $50,000. You're not in a place to pay those. And you don't want to lose the house to the bank. So you're willing to, to the government, right? For not paying the taxes. So you're willing to take a haircut on the price, right? You're willing to take a haircut on the price to just not have to pay the taxes and get something out of it, right? Another big thing is people have had their property on the market for 180 days, right? 270 days. I just saw a property near me. It's been on the market for 360 days. They've almost hit a full year. Okay. That is a motivated seller because at a certain point you go, man, I got to get out of this property, right? I don't want to keep paying for it. I got to get out of the property, right? So the idea of motivated sellers. Second one is investors who need deal flow. Okay. Understand that there's a lot of investors that sit on cash. Okay. Sitting on cash in certain markets is fine. Sitting on cash in this market is a bad thing. All right. With inflation as high as it is right now, you're losing money when you're sitting on that. So investors are looking for opportunities to place their money so that they can get a yield. Okay. And that yield, by the way, doesn't have to be an absurdly high yield. But I will tell you that if you can create an opportunity for someone like that, they will thank you like crazy for a deal that maybe I wouldn't touch or Drew wouldn't touch, or you know what I mean? Other people wouldn't because they're able to put their money into a secure investment like real estate. Okay. Third is speed. Okay. The ability to move quickly in a marketplace, particularly this kind of a marketplace, is a huge advantage. Opportunities are going to be there if you can be the first one there. If you can be talking with those people and engaging them and generating in their head the satisfaction for their motivations, you can win a deal. Okay. And it's not as hard as it sounds. Please understand that. And that really all boils down to that fourth piece. Okay. Education creates an advantage here. All right. It's one of the reasons why we're teaching what we're teaching. Okay. Education is a massive advantage. And Drew, if you want to take over the slides, I'll drop it to you. Education is a massive advantage in any marketplace. Okay. Information that is allowed to be disparities in information will always benefit the party that has more. Okay. So what we want to make you guys, what we want to give you guys is the ability to take advantage of what's in front of you. So Drew's going to talk now about what we teach and what we do so that you guys can understand how to get into the real estate business without having all of those other things. So go ahead, Drew. You want to take it over?
Yeah, can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
And can everyone hear me? Okay, thank you so much, Michael. By the way, you guys got to save Michael's information. We're going to put all our information out there. Done hundreds of millions of dollars of deals, put together some of the most exotic financial setups, enterprise level investments and investment strategies using real estate. You can learn a lot from him. What I'm going to bring to you today is stuff you can use in the market right now, transact, and make money in real estate with no money. Now, some of you might be like, Drew, I thought I saw you doing the gold presentation a couple weeks ago. Yes, I own a licensed gold dealership selling investment grade precious metals, but I got my start in real estate. I always tell people you need to have your wealth deeply rooted in physical assets. Gold, real estate, gold. I made all my money in real estate, continue to make tons of money in real estate. And what do I do with that wealth? I put it into gold. Most people don't know this. You can actually own gold in your retirement account. You can take any money that you have in a qualifying 401k or IRA and move it tax-free, penalty-free into real gold. Now, why might you want to do that? Well, we're nearing $40 trillion in debt as a country. Every time we borrow money, the chance of default goes up, not down, right? And also, physical gold in your retirement account isn't taxed the same. It's not taxed the same as stocks, bonds, mutual funds, annuities, or even cryptocurrency. But we're here for real estate. Okay, I'm gonna expand upon, and again, get a notepad, pen and paper, something to write with, a tablet, because I'm going to give you information you can go to work tomorrow and do deals and actually make money with no money out of your pocket. As Michael said, I made $500,000 in cash in my pocket and 40 real estate transactions in my first full year. And most of my deals were no money down, like I'm going to show you right now. And I just did one of these transactions just recently. I'm going to share with you tonight a no money down deal I just got done doing. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to expand upon the myths that Michael started with. Again, the first myth that you need to know is that you don't need money to do real estate deals. You really don't. Even if the transaction takes money, my favorite quote, doesn't have to be your money. Okay. Also, you can't wholesale deals on listed properties. False. I'm actually going to show you a deal I did just a couple years ago. That was a listed property with a realtor, no money down. You can't find deals in a seller's market. We are definitely in a seller's market. Heck, a property 2 doors down from me sold in 2 days. It is definitely a seller's market, but it is not a market you can't make money in, and I will show you can make money right now. You need to own a lot of real estate to make big money. No, you don't. As a matter of fact, I learned the hard way during the 2008 crash. It can actually be a hindrance if you own too much property. But I obviously see tons of opportunity. The smarter, the longer you're in real estate, you get more efficient, you do better deals, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Also, doing no money down deals, you can walk away from any deal you don't want to do because you have no skin in the game. At least no money. And then you need to be a landlord. This one also, I know I'm going to bring out a couple people that I work with. He'll tell you he hates being a landlord. That's one of the greatest things about doing wholesale contracts. You're never going to take possession of a property to have to rent it out. So great opportunity. And I do believe that everybody that does real estate should know how to wholesale a contract. It makes you a better negotiator. It makes you a better deal maker. And the deals you do take possession of, I believe, will be more profitable. Okay, now, write this down. This should be your motto. If you're going to be in real estate, you need to have these mechanisms in place to get deals. Number one, be able to scan for opportunities. I'm going to show you some free ways you don't have to spend any money on, but now there's some pretty cool technology, and I'm going to show you can get access to technology that allows you to scan for deals faster. Okay? Create leverage. Now, this is the number one thing that allows you to do no money down deals. Creating leverage from nothing. Now I'm going to clarify that here in a second. Number three, negotiate favorable terms. You want to be able to negotiate favorable terms for the person you're buying, but you got to think of you first. You got to make sure the terms make sense for you, okay? Because you have to make money on this deal. The other person, it'd be great to help them out. I know it, but you got to be able to make money on the deal. Otherwise, everyone's wasting their time. Okay? Connect with buyers. You have to be in the game. You have to be pressing flesh, shaking hands, meeting people on a regular basis. And I'm going to show you the best place to network with other real estate investors right here in your area. Okay? And then rinse and repeat, right? Just keep on doing it over and over again. Now, I do have a qualification. I talked to someone today, and I don't know if they're on the call today. He's like, Drew, are you sure this works? I guarantee it works. Now, here's the qualification. I guarantee it works because I do it every day. I'm going to show you 2 deals right now. One I just completed doing to show you that it works. But it works, but you have to work. I can't tell if you're going to wake up in the morning. I can't tell if you're going to put in the hours. Go to the meetings. The average amount of offers I have to make to do one deal, and I feel like I'm pretty good at what I do, is 12. I have to make 12 offers to get one deal. 12 offers to make one deal. I bet when I was starting, it was probably more like 20. You can't give up. You got to keep on talking to people. And a lot of times you'll get a phone call from somebody saying, remember we talked a couple months ago? Are you still interested? So you've got to keep in the game, make sure the terms are on your, for your benefit, right? More so than theirs. Stick to your guns, and people will call you back. But you got to do the work.
Drew, I can't, I didn't touch on that. I said, we were talking about no money. You don't need this. You don't need that. There is one thing that you need, right? You need to be able to hustle. That's the biggest thing here. You got to have the hustle. You got to put in the work because it is work. and it's not super heavy. You don't have to be a neuroscientist to be able to do it, but it is making phone calls. It is talking to people. If you're not comfortable doing those things and you're not comfortable face-to-face meetings with people, this is probably not a good fit, right? I can tell you that like right out of the gates, because a lot of this is your ability to talk to people. And as he gets into explaining how you do this, guys, you're going to see like that is a big factor, and you have to be willing to do that. And you got to think of it, guys. You got either got your time or you got your money. So if you're not bringing money to the table, you got to bring time to the table. That's the best
You
equation.
got to bring the will and the want. We'll show you the way. Okay, this is very underrated. You got to pick a market. Don't try to be in every market. Master one market, one area, one neighborhood, or a few neighborhoods, but they're close together, because you have to know what's a good deal. You've got to know when a house sells that was a good price. You got to know when a house sells that was a bad price. You got to be able to walk down the road and say, I'm noticing that house they haven't mowed their lawn yet this year. It's already near the end of May. What's going on? Right? Those things you need to know, those little things. I'm going to show you a real estate deal that if I was doing a rehab 2 blocks away, if I wasn't walking the neighborhood, I would have never gotten this deal. You've got to be intimately aware of the market conditions in the area that you want to do deals in, because you'll miss deals if you don't. Okay? The very first thing, look for properties that have been on the market for 6 to 12 months. 6 to 12 months. In a seller's market especially, if it's been sitting for 6 to 12 months, something is wrong. Okay?
Right.
Also, multiple price drops. I'm going to show you a property, one of the properties I got, how many times they dropped the price. That's money in my. I'm looking at that. I'm like, cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. Okay,
And
then
to be clear, Drew, you can look this up on Zillow. There's free.
Yep,
This
I'm
is
going to go over that.
heavy
Yeah,
special software, guys. Look this up on public. It's public information. Look it up on Zillow. Look it up on what's the other one? Redfin is another one. I mean,
Zillow, Redfin, Craigslist.
yeah,
You can
Craigslist has
look
got
up
them.
stuff. Yeah.
Yep.
Look for houses in disrepair. I love seeing houses, especially in a nice neighborhood. There's one actually down the road from me, and I every time I walk by it, I try to knock on the door or get a hold of the person that's living there, because they're the only house in the entire street that has blue tarp on their roof. And it's been there for like 2 years now. So they obviously don't have the money to fix the roof, right? As soon as this person answers the door, I'm going to ask to buy their house. Okay, so look for houses in disrepair. Now, this is actually the one I saw. My wife, and write this down. My wife loves 2 flats in Chicago that are all brick. So I saw this 2 blocks away, and the house was for sale with a realtor. Remember myth? One of the myths? You can't do this with houses that are listed with realtors. And this wasn't long ago, okay? And again, all you need, I'm putting here, all you need is Zillow, right? Find properties off the market or on the market for 6 months or more. Property in disrepair does not need to be listed, right? This one right here, I'll go
They
over in a
can
second.
be, but they can be listed.
Yeah, but it doesn't have to be, and I'm going to go over that differently here, okay? So here it is. This was listed with a realtor, 6-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-flat. By the way, just gut rehabbed, okay? I got to show you this. This is what it looks like when you go to Redfin. This is the property. This is the property. It's scrolling down here. Oh, I had it already teed up. I wonder what happened. Public record.
Pretty sure at the top, aren't they?
Here we go. Here, this is it. It just collapsed. So look, this guy bought it for $355, started listing it after he gut rehabbed it. Look at how many times he removed the listing to change the price. All in a year. Okay? And he listed it for, finally went down to $599, but he had it as high as $639. Okay? Had it as high as $639. Now, if you do go to a property that's in disrepair and it's not listed, just knock on the door. I'm going to give you a script for that, but don't be afraid to knock on the door and just strike up a conversation. I'll actually tell you what to say. Now, this one specifically was already being rehab or already got gut rehabbed and on the market. All those price drops. Keep that in mind because I'm going to go over some scripts here. and started off at 639 and went all the way down to 599 was the final listing when I knocked on the door and I talked to the realtor that was listing it. Okay, so I'm going to give you the script for this specific one, but here's some general scripts. Okay, I really like the neighborhood and I saw your home. If it's a realtor, can you tell me about the property? You got to get them to talk. You got to have more than a 10-minute conversation with anybody. You cannot expect to get any deals without having a genuine conversation that's at least 10 minutes long. This lady was raving about the property, all the updates, all the things that was going on with it. And again, I'm going to tell you what to say after this, okay? If it's the owner, I really like this neighborhood. I saw your home. Is this a good neighborhood? Right? Again, you're just going to let them throw up on you. Anything they talk about the property, they're going to brag. They're going to say how great the area is. Why? Because they're trying to sell their house and they're trying to get top market dollar. So you want them to tell you everything they can and get that all off their chest. And by the way, if you start getting good at this, they always have what in poker we call it a tell. They always, the more you let them talk, and this is realtors included, they will tell you what's wrong with the property. You just have to listen, okay? And again, I'm going to go over the scripts a little bit more here in a second. If it's a renter, hey, is this a good area to rent? Now, you're not going to buy it from this person, but you want to know the inside scoop of this property because a lot of time the renter's going to say, this place freaking sucks, man. The owner's da-da-da-da. They never fix this. They never fix that, da-da-da-da. Okay? Well, do you know who the owner is? Right? And get their information. Yeah. Okay. Now, this property seems like it has some really good features. Why do you think it hasn't sold? Okay. Again, this property has not been on the or not sold, been on the market for at least 6 months, and had at least one price drop. Right? Why do you think it hasn't sold? If you got good rapport with that person, you had a good 10-minute, 20-minute conversation, finding out about them, why they're selling the property, all these things. Why do you think it hasn't sold? Right? And again, if you listen, they had some tells. So the realtor, she was talking up a storm. And she told me that they were having a real hard problem with leaks in the roof and leaks through the walls. Okay? They couldn't find it. They don't know what's wrong. They keep on spending more and more money on it and they're losing money and they got to get out of this property and they don't know how to fix it. She actually told me this. By the way, I love that. Okay? All right. I see you dropped the price. What do you think it would take to get the value that you're looking for? Okay? Now, here's where you're going to gain leverage. Why do you think a property doesn't sell for the price that the person's asking for? Because the price does not match the value. That's your leverage. Right there, you are in the game. That's your leverage. So I say, what do you think it would take to get the price you want? And they'll tell you, well, we kind of really need another room. We kind of need the kitchen updated. We kind of need the bathroom, right? Well, they'll tell you, especially if it's an owner, right? They'll tell you what it needs. And then you have to say to yourself, can I bring it to that level of value, or do I know somebody? So I got off the phone today with a guy that's an electrician. He'd be a perfect person to buy this property for me if I put it under contract because he could do all the work himself. Right? I'd sell again, this is why you want to be in the game and why you want to go to meetings, because you might meet an investor he's a carpenter. Well, crap, the hole in the floor, he could fix that, right? So again, you're trying to find out what they wanted in value, why it hasn't sold, and what would it take to bring it to that value. That's your opportunity right there. That's creating something from nothing right there. And so guess what? Here you go. Oh, here's some side notes here. Look for upside potential. Here's one freebie. Can you put a second floor on? All this, single floor homes throughout Chicago, the bungalows that are 1.5 floors. Pop the top, baby. Can you? Can you pop the top? Because if you can pop the top, you immediately add square footage, right? Can you add more rooms? If you go to the place and you notice, why do they have Chicago's known for this. Why do they have such a huge living room, an area next to the living room, which you think would be the dining room, but then a dining room separate and then the kitchen next to it, right? They have this kind of like separated great room. You can make that a bedroom in a lot of these Chicago homes, okay? So if you can add bedrooms, boom, all day long, okay? And then bigger lots equal more opportunity. There was a property in Cicero. Boy, this lot's really big. What's going on with this house, right? I look it up. It's got 2 pins. The owner lived there. It was the son lived here. The dad's house was here, but it was in such disrepair they made him knock it down. Boom, it's just been sitting there. The guy's like 80 years old. They never did anything with it. I got 2 houses for 1. I was able to not only sell the house, I kept the lot and got it for free because I separated the pins. It's a very simple process to do. So sold the one house, right? And I got to keep a house for free, a property, which I developed later. Okay, so bigger lots equal more opportunity. So and this is my quote, this is the exact thing I said to get the property, no money down, the 2 flat I showed you, the all brick one. My wife to this day loves me for that reason, and she didn't think I could do it. If you meet my wife, if you come to my meetings, she'll tell you she didn't think I could do this. All right, because it was with a realtor, Eastern Europeans, very, very, let's just say, tough negotiators. Okay, if I could get you the original asking price without you doing anything more to the property, would you be open to creative financing? Write that down. Because you don't need to know anything else from this meeting, and you'll be able to sell this contract to somebody. You won't even need to know how to write it up. You could say, can you hold on a second? I got to call Mike. Can you hold on a second? I got to call Drew. If the person says from that sentence, yes, what do you mean by that? You got a deal. You don't even need them to say yes. You say, what do you mean by that? Let me have you talk to my buddy Drew. I think we can come up with something that you'll like. Just say that. Yep. So here I'm going to say it one more time, very slowly for the recording. If I could get you to the original asking price, because they dropped the price, remember, more than once. This one guy 8 times in a year, right? If I could get you to the original asking price without you doing anything more to the property, would you be open to creative financing? What do you mean by that? Hold on a second. Click. I got to call Mike and Drew, right? We got a deal, or at least we have an opportunity for a deal. Guess what the person said for the 2 flat? Because I was talking to a realtor. What do you think they said? Hell no. Get the hell out of here. Bye. But she remembered I said full asking price because she said, you mean $639? Actually, I think she said $624. I said, no, $639, your original asking price. She remembered that, told her dad. Her dad was the one selling the house. And I got a phone call from the hard money lender that was lending them the money. And it took them so long to get the property. He was going to lose money, and the person was about to be foreclosed on. And he saw that number and said, I could make my hard money lender whole. I can't screw my money lender because I won't be able to do more deals. Drew, how can you get me to $639? Let me take over your payments. Give me a year, I'll refinance. So the hard money lender, and by the way, I'm going to teach you something about hard money lenders that you can make money on from this meeting. Okay? He said, Drew, you did a full credit check, all that. My credit's amazing. My wife's credit's amazing. I said, I just need a year. Just give me a year. Let me take over the payments, right? He's going, I'm going to charge you 9% interest. The reason why is this thing cash flows like mad. It's 1 mile away from Wrigley Field. You know the Cubs, right? Oh, and you don't think you can do it in hot markets? There's no hotter market than where this 2 flat is, okay? So, again, you got to stick with it. Everything I'm teaching you tonight, just keep on doing it and you'll get deals. Okay, now here's another add-on sentence. Because if you start getting good and they say, what do you mean by creative financing? Well, basically, would you be open to, and this is kind of not really an exact follow-up question, but it's a question that you ask if you want to see if they have
It's a gauging
more,
question. It's a litmus test. You're testing to see if they're open to.
because they might be against saying that they are willing to do creative financing because that has such a bad connotation for some people. So if that doesn't go well or you don't see it going well, you can ask this: would you be open to splitting the profits if you didn't have to lift a finger or put any money into bringing the property to its highest, best value? I'm going to repeat that. This is important. Would you be open to splitting the profits if you didn't have to lift a finger or put any money into bringing the property to its highest value? Now, why is this huge? Because they want $639. They want the original asking price. They obviously don't have the money to get it there because they're stopped, right? They haven't been able to sell it at that value and it needs more work. The hardest problem with me as an investor is I can only do so many deals with my credit and credit limit. So the more I can get the homeowner to be on board with me and share the equity, right, of the deal, the more deals I can do. If I could do a deal where I only have to bring together the rehab costs, that's infinitely, because right now a traditional investor has to come up with at least 5% down plus holding costs plus points and have to do a close. That could take a month. And hard money lenders, that's for hard money, by the way, are doing less and less deals because the foreclosure rate's going up so high. So if I can close on a deal where you keep the house in your name, I'm going to do all the work, all the rehab, and we share in the profits, we can close today. We don't need a month, right? All I have to come up with is the actual rehab work. And what if I actually can do the rehab work? Because I am a carpenter, I am a plumber, I am an electrician. That's a deal. And again, you don't have to do the deal. You just have to sell it to a willing investor, right? So it's huge. And I hope we're recording this. So if you have to rewatch this and if you have to ask questions, this is your money. You don't need anything else. You can do real estate deals with those two sentences and what I showed you so far. But how would you like to make more money faster? Okay, we're going to go over that in a second. Okay, so these are the main no money down strategies. I am not expecting you to know how to write up a contract. You need to learn. We're willing to teach you, especially if you bring us a deal. We'll help you along the way. Why? Because you're out there looking for deals for us. We're helping you make money. We're paying you, right? If you can bring us a good deal. So the big one is rent to own and or lease option. Those are big. Wraparound mortgage, you really need to, this one is very, especially with changing laws, has to be done perfectly correctly, but can still be done. And then contract for deed. This is my favorite one. I love contract for deed. You're going to close. The property's in your name. You're just refinancing out after you're done with the work. It's so simple to do, both for me and you. Now, these two, the first and second ones, not the middle one here. The first and second one, the person pretty much has to be okay financially. They don't have to sell the property, right? They don't have to sell it today, right? They're okay with waiting a month, 2 months while we do the rehab. They don't need to get out like tomorrow because the bank's calling them. The wraparound mortgage, they need to get out, right? Listen, I'm behind on payments. They're foreclosing. I need to get the hell out of here. This one, again, is very nuanced, very sophisticated, and with changing laws since 2008, you need to do these right. We teach the right way. I can teach you the right way. But again, I'm not expecting from this meeting here for you to do that. The only caveat is to make sure the only caveat, and I apologize, I went back one. The only caveat is you need to make sure that all contracts must be assignable. What does that mean?
Can you explain that is? Yeah, Drew, because I think the rest of it's a little confusing if you're not used to this world, but that right there is the single most important thing.
Yep. So assignable means that when the person says, I will sell it to you, you can take that piece of paper and give it to anybody. Literally hand it to anybody, and with one signature, it is their contract. It makes it assignable. You can assign it to anybody, and that's how you get paid on wholesale deals. If I locked up that property, so let me ask this: we got a dozen people in this room, okay? So if I brought you this no money down deal where you only had to assume the payments, the 2 flat, all brick, and it net cash flowed $2,000 a month, how much would you buy that from me for if I could assign it to you? $2,000, $5,000, $10,000? You tell me. I don't know, right? By the way, my average deal, my very first year in real estate, my average wholesale deal was 20 grand. 20 grand. And you'll find out why in a second. Okay.
So just to be clear though, Drew, because I want to make sure everybody understands it. The nuances of those strategies, you don't have to know them. Okay. You don't have to know all
We're going to
that. We
teach you.
help you do that. Yeah.
Yep.
If you bring a deal to us, we'll teach you how to do that. We'll help you handle that side of the deal. The most important thing, the one factor that has to be there is it has to be assignable. That's one line in a contract. Okay, I'm an attorney by education. I don't practice law. I can tell you it's one line in a real estate contract. It's not a whole big section and all this other stuff. It's one line. It just says that
It's the easiest thing. It's the easiest thing to take care of in a contract.
And that just says, yeah, the buyer right now is me, and I can assign that buyer to be somebody else. And that's all assignment means. And just to be clear, there's some things with it. Sometimes it has a time period. It's assignable for X number or whatever. All of that we will help you with. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to be an expert with it. That's actually what we do. That's the value we bring to the table.
Okay, so the last component besides rinse and repeat to do in wholesaling contract is to connect with buyers. Well, now you know us. At the end of this call, we're going to put up a phone number. You can call us anytime you get a deal.
Yeah, exactly.
But also join a community and network regularly. If you want to do real estate full time, let's say you want to make $1 million in real estate. Number one, that's not only doable. I have helped more people make millions in real estate than most companies can ever say they've done in the last 20 years. And you'll meet them. If you join our community, you'll meet the people I've helped mentor into becoming millionaires. Well, if you're going to be a millionaire real estate investor, you better act like it. Show up to meetings at least once a week. At least once a week. Walk the walk. Talk the walk. And hard money lenders are hidden gems. If somebody says they're a hard money lender, you need to call them once a month. I want you to have a list of 100 hard money lenders, because two things hard money lenders are doing. Ready? Number one, rejecting deals. That's the number one thing they're doing, is rejecting deals. And if they're rejecting deals, those people promise to buy something that they can't buy anymore. There's an opportunity for you to come in and do the deal the right way, right? Number two is they're foreclosing on deals. They're taking over properties they do not want, okay? Hey, I'll take that deal from you. I got a whole host of investors that'll take that deal. Hey, John, Bob, Mary, do you have any deals that you guys are going to foreclosure on? Let me get you out of it before you have to go to foreclosure. Done. Right there. Hidden gem. Okay. Okay, so here's a wholesale deal. And I'm actually going to bring out somebody, one of my best buddies, members of our community, absolute gem of a person. Here's some signs you can put out. Now, you do not need to have nice, pretty signs like this. These cost about $10 a sign. But I am telling you, this sign next to one that says I buy houses cash, this one will get more calls. And you don't need, here, let me go. You don't need it to be pretty. You can buy a $6.77 sign from Home Depot and draw it with a big Sharpie. It does not need to be a pretty sign. Okay. Now, if you do have a little bit of money that you can spend on signs, I admit these are beautiful and they work great. You put them next to any major intersection. You put them out on a Friday. The lawn people that mow lawns will end up taking them away. The city might pull them down. I personally think if you spend money on the signs, pick them up on Sunday. Drop them off on Friday, pick them up on Sunday. Drop them off on Friday, pick them up on Sunday. Now, here's a perfect example. This person called my sign. The person that owns this house right here. Here's a picture of it right up top. This deal just happened. So this house, the guy's like, listen, I left this house by my mom. Me and my brother want to get rid of it. Long story short, not only did this deal go under contract, I didn't do the deal. And all I saw was the opportunity to put a second floor on it. This is an AI rendering. Now, this deal has not gone to close, but it's gone under contract. I did nothing. Now, the gentleman that's coming out will tell you about the deal, but he's also one of my great friends. It's in his neighborhood, so I called him first. Steve, can you come out, not only give your testimonial, but I know this deal specifically, I thought about you. You wanted to pay me money for it. I just gave it to you because you're a friend of mine. But just share your story and tell the group here a little bit about your history with working with me.
Yeah, how you doing, everyone? I would love to say that I'm super successful like both of these guys, but I'm just a regular guy. I used to work for a company called Service Master. I was a janitor. I cleaned toilets, strip and wax floors. I'm just an average guy. And, the problem I had, I was working a lot and I was going to work. It was dark. I was coming home. It was dark. And I couldn't see myself, getting where I wanted to go. And then I met Drew. And Drew started saying, oh, you can make all this money. And maybe because I'm a city kid, stuff sounds too good to be true. It just might be. But I was just in a point in my life, I took a leap of faith and started working with Drew. And within my first 30 days, I made $53,000 and had a 4-unit building. And once you get your mindset from what it sounds good to it actually is good, it's unbelievable. And I just want to say thank you, Drew. I could not have done anything what I'm doing without you. So,
yeah, thank you so much, Steve. And by the way, real quick, so I know this hasn't closed, and right. Listen, you got to do about 12 offers before one deal closes. I know that, so that the disclaimer's there. But how much was the property that you put under contract that we're showing here, and how much do you think it'll be worth when the second floor goes on if everything goes smoothly?
Okay, there's a house right across the street, $1.3 million. We picked it up for $435,000. We're going to pop the top. We're going to put the second floor. We figure it's going to be somewhere around $270,000-$300,000. So we're going to be under $750,000 by the time holding costs and everything. And then, we're shooting to sell it for $1 million.
So and probably sell more than that, but I did not ask you to give me any money. But if someone served this to you on a silver platter from the community and someone said, I got the contract, how much would you pay a finder for this deal normally?
Typically, I pay anywhere from $5,000 to $20,000 on a deal. It depends on, do they have it under contract? Do I need to go in and negotiate? There's some variables, but they should make a nice penny. Just return
right, exactly. Thank you so much, Steve. All right, let's keep going. We're almost done here. So how do you want to make money faster? I put here more money, more faster. I know my English is bad. Join our community. We're a group of investors, 1,000 here locally, over 2,000 nationwide, that meet every single week, 5 days a week, teaching you how to find deals, how to find the money for those deals, how to fix them up, flip them, fix them up, keep them, hold them, short-term, long-term rental, commercial properties, the details of the no money down deals I wasn't able to go over tonight. Now, everything I showed you tonight, you can go out there and make money. But again, if you have all the systems in place and you can put everything in contract and hand it to somebody, you make more money. You make more money faster. If you know the community, like the people in the community, I already know who I'm going to sell the deal to. I thought of Steve as soon as this property went up because I know he's doing a rehab right down the road. So join a community like ours. Again, meeting 5 days a week. We, again, Monday nights, right, is our big kickoff the week, find the deal. Tuesday nights, find the money for the deals. Like I said, I love this one. Wednesday night, deal or no deal, right? You can bring your deals. Hey, this is a good deal. Not only have we helped people identify if a deal is bad or good, but we've helped people fix deals that were bad and now are good. So again, more money, more faster if you join us. We teach 90 strategies, 43 practitioner instructors teaching you 90 strategies on how to do more deals, better deals, faster. Okay? Because as you increase your knowledge, you'll be able to make more money on your no money down deals. You'll be able to negotiate better deals. I personally can close any deal I want traditionally with 20, 25, 30% down. My wife and I have excellent credit. We have tons of assets. I still do no money down deals. There's nothing better than doing no money down deals. I want to bring out, you know what? Before I bring up Mary, because you're going to meet these people. You'll meet all the people that are talking here. Alex, you're a guy that's been in the industry your entire life. You've already done rehabs. You've already been a general contractor. Why this community? Tell us, please.
Oh, thanks, Drew. First of all, what I liked about the information that Drew was a lot of stuff that Drew and these guys are teaching. I started this doing real estate, a long time ago. Some of the stuff we did 10, 15 years ago just doesn't equate to today's market. And these guys are, one thing I liked, some of the stuff I've listened to is that they've got, new strategy stuff that, that I didn't even think about. And also some of the technology. I remember back in the day when we used to have to drive every property. There was no Zillow. There was no, to get information. We used to have to go to the courthouse and research stuff. The technology that they have, not only with the software that you guys have, and just, all these different classes, it's a game changer, at least for me.
Thank you so much. And again, you'll not only meet all these people that are on this call if you ever come to enter our meetings, but I'm just going to bring up also, before I talk about Mary, I've got people on my site that have made millions of dollars doing what I'm showing you here tonight. So I made $500,000 my very first year in cash in my pocket, along with 40 real estate transactions, most of them money down. But what I love doing as much as making my own money is helping people realize their dreams and make their own money. Scott here made $7.8 million so far working with me. I've made more millionaires than probably any other company out there can claim that actually teaches investing in real estate. Now, that being said, I've also been doing it longer than most people. So
now,
that's that caveat.
One thing, Drew, and because I get asked this question a lot, and they always say, well, if you're so good at this, why do you teach it? And I think it's really important for you guys to understand there is a very selfish interest as to why Drew, why I teach this, why the group teaches it. Okay. There's a very selfish interest because you guys bring us deals. The more people that we have out there, the more opportunities and swings that we get at that. Okay.
Well,
you have to understand there's an opportunity for everybody here. And that's really the mindset.
Yes, so I have a selfless and a selfish, narrative, if you will. My selfish narrative is I can do more deals with more people looking for deals. Period. End of statement. But I am telling you right now, having lifelong friends that I can share this with, like Steve, like Alex, who I've known for, Steve now 2 decades, right? And I've got hundreds and hundreds of people across the country I've been able to help that never had any money. That, in my opinion, is so rewarding to do deals with people that have never been able to do deals before, bring people to a level of income sufficiency, self-sufficiency that they never would have had without real estate. But I'm bringing this up because it does cost money to join our community. I can get you started as little as $1, okay? There are different levels you can join us at. But I want you to, even if you bought everything we have, every package that we have, lifetime member, lifetime coaching, all the things plus all the things, right? Let's bring up Mary, who you'll meet if you come to our and join our community. Her first two deals, and if you ever see on our site anyone with a gold rim around their picture, they've been vetted, meaning that we've seen their HUD ones, we vetted their testimony and their deals. Her first two deals made her 155 grand, right here, 155 grand. First two deals. Okay. Now, what are your next steps? Meet with us. Geez, I keep on coming out of my presentation here. Meet with us. I want you to go to a free presentation, a free training, another one that we have on finding the money. The biggest fear most people have is the money in a real estate transaction. How am I going to afford it? So we've got one of the best trainers on finding money, Eric Counts. This Saturday, you can log in 10 a.m. I can get you a ticket, but you have to meet with me one-on-ones so I understand your situation, what you're trying to accomplish, and I can plug you in at the right level with our community. But this training, Crack the Credit Code from Personal to Business Mastery, is not only how to master credit personally, but through businesses. Businesses will always, in the long run, get more money than you personally. So you've got to know how to get into the business credit game. If you want to get into the Michael money, right, doing those enterprise real estate transactions worth hundreds of millions of dollars, you have to really get into the business side of the financing. But it starts with personal financing. We're going to go over all that in our training. I want you to get you a free ticket. Again, we have different levels you can join our community at. I can go over those details with you. And the 500 grand that I made my first year, full year, is owning a real estate investment education business. I can show you how you can own your own real estate investment education business. Scott Rowe, who made $7.8 million, is just the real estate investment education, not the real estate we do. Not the tens and tens of millions of dollars of real estate that we do on a regular basis. So if you want to really amp up your wealth and accelerate your earnings, meet with us. Now I'll answer any questions you have. Do you have our meeting link? Yeah.
Yeah, so I was just going to tell you guys. So sorry, the phone number for some reason kept getting inverted. So there's the third number is correct. You can also email us at concierge@Wealth IQ Group. I urge you to check out the site, guys. www.wealthiqgroup.com. There's a lot of cool information there. Um, the scheduling link, the appointment that's there is an appointment with Drew or with myself. I Guys, schedule, get on our calendar, have the conversation. If there's no cost, I will tell you one very important thing. Okay, neither Drew or myself are in the high pressure sales game. Okay, you will not get like pressure to buy or this or that. We're not believers in that. I kind of joke about it with the Wealth IQ Group thing. It isn't about building a company, it's about building a cult. Okay, the people that are in this believe in it, they want to be a part of it, they want to put in the work. It's a mental thing. They've made the decision that they want a better life and that they're willing to do what's necessary to get there. And those people, there's no pressure sale to that. They've made the decision based on the information that's in front of them. If we have to pressure sale, we did something wrong along the way. So none of those conversations are like that. You won't get pressure sold. I encourage you to have the conversation. And the most important reason why is that every single person that's on this call right now has a different life story. Okay. You're each at different places in your life. I encourage you to tell the story so that we understand where you're coming from and where you're trying to get to. Some people have a lot of time. Some people don't have a lot of time. Some people, where you live in the country is important. Where you are with your kids. I actually see one of my childhood closest friends from childhood is actually on the call today. Tim, I'm calling you out, bud. Sorry. So Tim is on the call. Now, Tim's raising girls. He's got a full-time job. He also runs a volleyball club for his girls with his wife. Tim is super busy, but he's here because he's interested in changing his life, right? Everybody wants to create something different with their financial future. So his story is going to be different than Ron's. It's going to be different than Nick's, going to be different than Hector's, it's going to be different than David, it's going to be different than Wesley. Get your stories to Drew and I so that we can help you guys build a plan for you to create a better financial future, to create a secure financial future, and to do something. To be honest with you, this is fun. I don't know about you, Drew. I enjoy real estate. I think that's like the biggest thing. I enjoy real estate. It's fun, it's exciting, and you can make money while you're doing it. So
Well, I love the the puzzle of it, to
mhm.
figure out something that no one else has been able to figure out. And the bigger the challenge, one of the reasons why I was able to get that deal too, my wife, she said there's no way you can do this deal no money down. There's is one of the most popular
You had
areas
to
in
win.
all of Chicago. She's like, "No way are you going to do it." And I'm like, "I'm going to show you." This woman does not know who she's messing with. All right. So, number one, say hi to us, meet with us. We really don't have an agenda other than to learn about you, help you get to where you want to be in real estate. Number two, get the free training, get the free ticket. And I'm writing too slow. Just get the ticket for Saturday. Even if you just, hey, you know what? I don't want to spend any money on anything else. I just want a free ticket. Hey, we're fine with that. Or number three, man, I want to make the big bucks. I want to own my own business in real estate investing. I want to take this next level and do this full time. Hey, we know how to do it. We have the roadmap. Again, if you have the will, you have the want, the work ethic, we have the way.
Amen. I don't see any questions, Drew. If any of you guys have them, you're welcome to pop them in the chat. There will be an email following this up. So as long as you signed up for it, there will be an email with all the key links and stuff like that, and a copy of the recording so you can watch it. I also encourage you guys follow Wealth IQ Group. We do a lot of information only webinars. Maybe the one on, tax things it doesn't interest taxes for investors doesn't interest you. Maybe the one for gold does. Maybe trading automation interests you, whatever it is, but keep an eye on it because we're spending time curating the top education components to be able to deliver it to you guys in a way that's not only going to help you, it's not only going to help you, but can also it can change your life. Yes, that's a huge factor, and there's no question about that. But it's also finding out that you don't like things. There's that factor too. So I encourage you, get the information. A lot of what we do at Wealth IQ Group is just free information. So take advantage of it, learn what you can. I don't see any other questions. So Drew, thank you so much, sir. Always appreciate you. Always learn something new when I'm on the phone with you.
Have a good night,
Audience, thank
everybody.
you.
Thank you.
Have a great night, guys.